Mm, 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 mm. Do, 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 do. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Ooh, gotta stretch. Excuse my stomach. What's good, y'all? It's another episode of Talk Ya Shid. You feel me? But today we finna have a black brother who does a multitude of things. Rapper, actor, shit. Owns his own business, clothing, he does all of that. So that's what we about to have for today. When he decides to, come on. Told him that it was at 7:30. We gonna see. So yeah. Hopefully. I mean, my page public, so we good. I'm always drinking something, so I got juice in here. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Gotta stretch. I sent the invite to the person I'm supposed to interview today. So we gonna see. He told me he was ready. He was on. He told me he's gonna be in the car though. He was in traffic. Corners versus Celtics. Well, okay. Go to himself. All right, that's a bet. I think I put a parlay on that jump too. I think. Don't know just yet. Let's wait. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. We gonna see. We gonna see. I didn't touch that. And there he is. Let's go. I hit accept. So we're gonna see how this about to work. Because he used to mess up before. There we
Fam,
go.
how you doing?
What's up with you?
Blessed, can't
I'm doing
complain,
good. How are
really.
you? I feel it. I feel it. So, as you know, this is going to be an interview about you because we have never done an interview before. So, with that being said, this is called Talk Your Stuff. I know you a Christian man. You be doing Christian rap and stuff like that. So we will keep it
Man, we can
PG
keep it
on my
real.
behalf.
We
I'm
can
gonna
keep
keep
it
it PG
real.
the best way I can. I understand
Most
that, but I
definitely.
like to respect. I respect it. So with that being said, we're gonna start it off like this. First things first. How many businesses do you own? How much stuff do you do? Like, give us
So,
the
first of all, I
rundown.
have my organization is called, right now I'm over here. So, can you hear me? All right, cool. I'm over here
Yeah, I can hear you. We can
at
hear you.
23rd Parkway and stuff. I'm with my peoples. So, I want to just make sure that the connection is good and everything. But I have an organization called Real Business Ministries and Entertainment. And under the branch of Real Business
Mm-hmm.
Ministries and Entertainment, I have Real Business Apparel. which is the clothing line. I have Real Business Music, which is the record label. I have Real Business Ministries, which is the advocacy and outreach ministry. I also have Real Business Modeling and Acting Agency, where we help up and coming actors and help support them and get different gigs and get different opportunities that, you know, most up and coming actors and models and stuff may struggle to get. So if you just coming out there trying to get your feet wet, or you trying to turn your dream into reality, don't know where to go, you know, they link up with me. I help put you on. You know, I try to look at myself as a facilitator. You know, when God bless me with certain opportunities, I know that they're not always for me. You know, it's bigger than me. So it may be for somebody else who, you know, like I might be connected with somebody to a certain TV show or a certain modeling, you know, a certain modeling event or something like that, to where I'm not, I have modeled before, modeled different brands and clothing and stuff, but I'm not, that modeling is not what I'm pursuing. So if I know several models, you know, I'll put them on or whatever. I'm also an actor, and I'm also a poet as well. So yeah, I wear many different hats, but you know, like I like to say, wherever the Lord send me, that's where I go. You know what I'm saying?
With that being said, and you and your different hats, do you have a specific hat that you like the most? That you like to do the most?
I think I forgot to also name that I'm a hip hop rap artist as well. I would like to say that being a rap, I think all of them had their own uniqueness, to be honest with you. All of them had their own uniqueness, because I would say I like rapping the most because that's something that I grew up doing since a child. Like, so that's like a part of me, you know, that's a part of me. That's a part of this DMV culture that I come up from. Just growing up, you know, going to school. I mean, even in elementary, beating on the school desk, rapping, flowing, rapping the go-go. Because, you know, we ain't
Definitely,
really
most
have no
definitely.
big rap platform here in DC. You know, I grew up in Northeast. We ain't have no big rap platform. So everything was go-go. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it wasn't really, rap wasn't really magnified, or we didn't have the platforms and stuff that we do today, where you see everybody out here rapping and stuff. Everybody was trying to be in go-go bands and go the go-go route. You know what I'm saying? So me being like one of those guys, I've been rapping for a long time. Like, I've been in and out of studios and stuff, man, since I've been like 12. Like 12, 11, like really like rapping for real. So, you know, a lot of people who know me from the city or from the DMV area, they know I've been rapping forever. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, they all had their own uniqueness. Acting was something that I didn't see coming, but it's something I always wanted to do. God opened that door for me. Being a poet, that's actually I started with poetry, doing poetry live and everything before I ever. Yeah, I started
Most
with
rappers do that.
shout
Most
out to the
rappers do.
Lakeisha Brown Foundation. Is a group of women who had got together. It was founded by Miss Mignon Brown Anderson. She is a strong black woman from the DC area whose daughter was killed some years ago. I think back in the early 2000s, her daughter was killed by her boyfriend. She was shot in her head while she was asleep, I think over by Potomac Gardens. And after that, you know, her mother had started this foundation to go out and be an advocate for domestic violence. And, you know, they travel. She's connected with a lot of different women. They travel. They do events all over the DMV and outside of the DMV. So I was blessed to be brought on to do some poetry for one of their events. I think at the Arc over there on Mississippi Avenue. It's at the Arc Center on Mississippi Avenue, and I was brought to do one of their events, and it was with you know, the DC Sniper's wife, Miss Mildred Muhammad. She was there. Yeah, so
Yes, I know
she's
exactly what you're
affiliated
talking
with
about.
them. So Miss Justine Love with WPGC, all of them was there. And matter of fact, you know what? Hold on. That was the second event. The first event was at the Thurgood Marshall Center. And they called me and I did the portrait at the Thurgood Marshall Center in DC. And that's before I I've been rapping for a long time, but I had stage fright like a mug, so I had never stepped on stage and perform. I do it in the hood, I do it around the family, but I never stepped
Mm-hmm.
on stage. So after I had gave my life to the Lord, you know, I had a different type of boldness, different type of confidence with myself, you know what I'm saying? And it was by the grace of God. So when I stepped out and did my poetry, it opened that door, gave me the boldness to start stepping out and rapping on stage, going to the different venues all throughout the
Mm-hmm.
city, outside of the city, doing my rap thing. So like I said, all of them have their different uniqueness. So all of them have their different, you know, it got their different speciality with them. So I don't know. I can't say I like one more than the other, but I, yeah, you know what
But
I'm
all of them
saying.
make up you.
But rap,
That's what
rap,
you mean. I
rap.
feel
That's
you. I
my
feel
thing
you.
though. Rap is my thing though.
So did you always start out with, if I'm correct, it was
I
Christian rap,
really
right?
don't. I'm a Christian man, devoted Christian. I really don't categorize my music
Mm-hmm.
just as Christian rap because I know my style is very unique. It's very different. Because some people could listen to my music and be like, that don't sound like no Christian rap song unless you really listen to the lyrics. Because what I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
is sharing my testimony. I'm telling people far as where I come from, the things I've seen, things I've been through. I grew up, I rip and ran the streets. I was out in the streets in DC. I was hustling, I was selling drugs, I was robbing, I was doing all of that. So I try to tell my testimony through my music, but I still come in a certain way that's, you know, that people who may not be Christians can relate to. So I always try
Okay.
to label my rap more so it's like soul rap. Because I say everybody got a soul. So you know what I'm saying? So if I
Ah,
express
okay.
myself from my soul, you got a soul, you gonna feel me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm a devoted Christian. But some people say some songs I make are for, you know, the church, for those who are saved will understand it more. But I just think I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying? I'm very eclectic. I got very different styles and different forms I could come. Like I could jump on a trap beat with the best of them and go in and still keep the message solid. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I let people do the category, you know, put me in the categories. But yeah, you
I
know.
feel you. Okay. So here's my next thing. What was your drive?
Uh,
Like, what was your drive to pursue all of these different businesses and all these different
um
aspects of life?
I had to, so this was the thing. When it came to rap, so ever since I've been young, I've been hustling. Like if you grew up in the 90s in DC, that was a hustling era.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have some type of hustling in your blood. Like I tried to sell everything. So far as that started from me being a business entrepreneur. Man, I done sold clothes, candy, games, wrestling men. I done sold it all. I done sold crack. I done sold her. I done sold try to sell
Right.
heroin. I done sold
There we
try to
go.
sell a little bit of everything growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But even Biggie said it the best. He was like the rap game, like the crack game. A lot of the different things that I learned in the streets or just growing up in life, even when it comes to like business, like selling drugs, that taught me marketing, supply and demand. Like the same thing I did when I was selling drugs, selling weed, selling pack, all that. I do the same thing when it comes to the business. So that's why I tell dudes now, like, if you feel like it
Mm-hmm.
ain't no other way to get it than that, I'm like, man, I felt like God has took me out of that and made me a light to show other youngins who come from where I come from or other people, you know what I'm saying, that look, it can be done a different way. Like it no matter where you come from, like it's where you need to go. It's like it could be done a different way. I done tried all the other ways, and it ain't no better way than doing it the way that God got me doing it now, the right way. You know what I'm saying? The righteous way, doing things right. I ain't paranoid. I ain't looking over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm prospering more than I ever been in life when I chose to do it God's way. And that's another thing. My biggest drive has just been life, my testimony, and what God has done in my life. That's been my biggest drive because I didn't had the urge to quit so many times through life, man. Even with this real business stuff, I had people who was close to me come against it, tell me I need to change and go do this, man. You need to go ahead and get you need to have a plan B. It was like, man, but in my heart, it's like God gave me this vision for these different things. It was like, it ain't no plan B. This plan A. It's like plan A is what I'm sticking with. It's what I'm rocking with. And with this vision God gave me, it's been through so many different ups and downs. I had people come, people go. I had people like carry me, you know what I'm saying? People turn their back on me, you know, and a lot of people don't like to get with your movement till it start moving. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real business. You know what I'm saying? So
Ooh,
yeah, you know, so
ooh, that was a
you
good
gotta
one.
be you
That was
gotta
a
be
good
able
one.
to withstand the storms of life when God give you a vision. You gotta be able to withstand when certain things change and just going through the process. You gotta be willing to go through the process, that even when it don't look like it's doing nothing, just trust in God and continue to stay focused and stay grounded, you know, and then keeping God as your number one priority. To me, you know, I don't push my belief or my faith in God and my faith in Christ on nobody. I just tell people what he done for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
know what he did for me. Like, even with my gift of rap, I was very influential with my gift of rap when I was young. I was rapping about the streets, and I was still telling stories in my rap and stuff like that, but it was from a different perspective. It was from a different outlook. I was kind of glorifying what I was doing. And when we would talk about in the streets or running from jump outs and selling drugs, but now I talk about it from a teaching perspective, and I let people know the outcome of what will happen, and I let people know of the best alternative to get out. It was the only alternative that I know that worked for me after trying
Mm-hmm.
everything else. It was Christ. It was when I accepted Jesus Christ in my life. After going through so much and realizing, man, that street cred ain't worth nothing at the end of the day, dog. It ain't worth nothing. Losing your life, having my face on a t-shirt, having my family hurt. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, oh, he
Yeah,
was a
yeah, I
savage, or
get you.
he was a shooter. Like, dog, that at the end of the day, that stuff don't mean nothing.
Just for the
It,
last like, just for the last like three
on to the
days,
next
and
thing, because
everybody
then you
on to the
got other
next thing.
youngins
Yeah,
growing up and coming out. Next thing you know, that block you used to be posted up on, time going past, it's gonna be another generation come up. Yeah, your name might still get talked about in a certain type of way, but it's like people change through life. Some of them same friends that you might have grew up with was doing that with, they gonna get locked up, they gonna die off, they gonna change their life, they gonna have families, they gonna have kids. So it's like, dag, now you done died back in so and so for what though? For what? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm just thankful that what God got me at now. God was my greatest inspiration, because Jesus Christ was my greatest inspiration, because I gave up so many times. So many things happened in my life that discouraged me. The devil tried to discourage me because he knew that God was going to use me and as a positive impact. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of this wickedness and this darkness that's happening, we got all these youngins out here dying like crazy. You know what I'm saying? That I'm sure that you can attest to. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? And
please,
it's
I'm telling.
crazy. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
definitely can.
and I've
Got a
been to
couple
a
friends,
lot of
you know.
funerals, man. I buried a lot of friends to the point where I even stopped wanting to go to the funerals. You know what I'm saying? And coming from being a part of the problem, I felt like when God saved me, when God changed my life around, it was my duty to become a part of the solution. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, God is my greatest inspiration, man. In my life, my family, the things I've been through. That's why I say, man, it don't matter where you come from. If you allow God, man, to come into your life, man, and really buckle down and really see the bigger picture, man, you never know what you can be. You never know what you can do. You know what I'm saying? You never know the certain gifts or what your purpose, what destination God got for you, what purpose God got for you. So, I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful and humble these days. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you. But this leads to my next question, which is, what was the breaking point for you to go from that negative lifestyle that you were living to the positive one that you are
Wow,
now?
man. It was a series of things, to be honest. I had a friend that died. Like, my life was a very unique one, man, because I was having a lot of spiritual encounters and things happening to me when I was younger that I didn't understand. And it didn't make sense to me until later on in life, when I finally gave my life to God. It's like God started showing me
Hmm.
where he how he was with me all along, even in the beginning stages of my life when all these different things was happening and I didn't understand. It's like I knew I was different. But as I got older and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I was an athlete coming up. I was a football player, man. I played football. I played basketball, but football was my thing though. But playing basketball in the neighborhood, man, I took karate. I played soccer. Like, I was just an athlete, but football was my thing. You know what I'm saying? I used to play for Rosedale Recreation Center. I played for Kenilworth Steelers. I played for Elliott Junior High School. So football was my thing. That's what I was banking on. But, you know, in this environment, it's easy to get caught up if you start hanging around the wrong people, you know what I'm saying? And you start giving interest to the wrong things. It's easy to get caught up. Once I got caught up in the streets, man, I seen so much. I was exposed to so much at an early age. And I got involved in so much to where it was like I seen all that life have to offer on the dark side. And by seeing all that life had to offer on the dark side and the things that you thought that would really gratify you and fulfill you, by like having all the money, being able to hit any type of, you know, have any type of chick you want, being able to hit any type of chick. You think that when you get these certain things, like, this is what's going to gratify you, this is what's going to make you who you are, you're going to be good. And then when you get a certain type of popularity or certain type of street cred or certain type of you start making a certain type of money or stuff like that, and you realize that something is still missing, and you realize that these things do not sustain you, they do not fulfill you, you start searching for it elsewhere. And it's like, to me, it was like I could not find it nowhere. I started going through suicide. I went through depression. The streets that I thought that once loved me, that showed me so much love, I started seeing betrayal. I started realizing that friends who I thought was my friends ain't who they really was. You know what I'm saying? I prayed for God to show me who my real friends was, and it was just like one after another. It was like it's really like I lost all my friends. I even lost them to death, or I lost them to betrayal, or I lost them to lies and rumors, or I lost, you know, it just became like, man, this life that I'm living right here, like, I'm trying to impress people. I'm trying to be loyal to people who ain't even loyal to me. I'm out here trying to impress dudes and impress people who, if I take a fall right now, they ain't gonna bail me out of jail. Some of these people ain't even gonna put their life on the line for me. At the end of the day, the family that I'm running from, because I'm trying to run to the neighborhood and do this, that, and the third, and commit these crimes. Every day I'm committing crimes that could get me 25 to life in prison every single day. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in DC, I'm committing crime, doing all this type of stuff, and you realize, like, man, this ain't worth it. It's leaving me feeling empty. I'm feeling empty, and eventually, I start feeling like I start being, and it may sound crazy, but it's like I started being hunted by demons, man. I used to be scared to go to sleep because I would have demons really standing over top of me. And then I'm constantly watching my friends die one after another. And I had this strong feeling, this strong gut feeling that I was next. And then I was constantly seeing that. I was having dreams about it. My family was having dreams about it, coming to me saying, man, I'm keep having dreams that you dying. I'm having dreams I'm dying. It was just becoming so surreal to me. And I realized that I needed to make a choice. I needed to make a choice, because if not, that I was going to be sent to an early grave. And the worst part about it was I didn't know where I was going for eternity. You know what I mean? And that was me. I had a father in my life. That was the thing. And my mom and my father divorced when I was younger. So my mother wasn't in the household with me. And me and my mother didn't have a good relationship. So my father worked 2 jobs. He was never home. So I was always in the neighborhood. But I had a father. At the same time, my father was always present. He always gave me real game because I was coming up in a real environment. You know what I'm saying? So that played a huge part in my upbringing as well, and me being introduced to the idea of who God is and the idea of how to pray and everything. But I never was really one that really, we went to church maybe on like Easter, or sometimes, I've been to church before, but I'm young. You go to church, we going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really know nothing about God like
Yeah.
that. You know, I knew enough to say that I was a Christian. My father taught me how to pray. And because I was going through a lot of spiritual encounters and spiritual things when I was younger, I learned to trust in God myself. So by me trusting in God and myself when I was younger, I got to experience God for myself. So it wasn't nothing that nobody could tell me that God wasn't real, that Jesus wasn't real. I experienced it for myself. I seen him work. When I called on the name of the Lord, I had seen him work in my life when I was younger. Ain't nobody forcing him on me. I wasn't forced to go to church or none of that. Matter of fact, if you would have asked me anything about church when I was younger, Slim, I couldn't tell you what a deacon, apostle was the devil. I couldn't tell you none of that. But I knew I had a personal relationship with God myself spiritually. And it carried with me as I grew older. So even when I was in the streets, and it may sound crazy, man, even before we might go pull a move or pull a caper, I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, please don't let me die.
No,
You
that's not
feel me?
crazy. That's not
Hey,
crazy. That's
for
just
real
life.
business
You
though.
thinking about
And
yourself in that
it showed
situation.
me how real God was. Even in my mess, it showed me how much God still loved me. To where I would pray and I'd be like, Lord, if they come through here shooting tonight or this happened tonight, please let me make it back home safe to my family. Or if the police jump out on us today, please don't let me get caught. And it would be crazy how my circumstances will always end up. It's like I know somebody is here, like God is hearing my prayer. When I got homies that's right next to me who I may be wilding out more than them, they dying, they getting locked up. Why am I keep going home to my family? Somebody's hearing me, somebody's protecting me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that relationship with God, with God was very important. It was vital. But I still didn't have a true understanding in who he was till I fully surrendered. And I got to a place which most call in the in the Christian world, we call it at the crossroad. And at the crossroad, that's where you get to that place to where, like I said, it's like you got to make a choice. And it's like, because God is trying to save you. God ain't trying to condemn you to hell. The Lord don't want you to go to hell, but you have a devil on your back. So it's like you got to make a choice. Do you continue living life the way you want to live it when you got an enemy out here that's trying to take you out because he don't want to see you grow or see God bring you into this place to where he can do great things for you, to where now you can be a positive light instead of living in this world of darkness or this world of immorality? Or do you end up falling prey to the streets, to drinking, to doing all the immoral things that you know that's not right? You got a choice to make. You got a choice to make because, like we say, it's the doors of opportunity are constantly closing. So God had used me, man, to minister. I mean, this was before I gave my life to the Lord. God was really using me to minister to friends and everything, man. And I didn't see it until I look back in hindsight, where I had friends of mine who God would just use me to talk to them, man, just about life, about God. And they'd be like, Tone, man, you always talking about God. You know, I respect that. Like, no matter what you do, you always like bringing God up. Like, you always having this mindset to want to do the right thing, even though, you know, you might be caught up in here out here in this mess. And it's like, yeah, man, because I know that there is much better for us than just this. It's like, I know it is. So every day, you know, I would tell myself, Lord, I told myself this every day for some years. And I remember my mother used to be like, you going to change when you're 22. You going to change every day. You know, so I knew I had family praying for me. I was praying for me. Shoot, it got to a place to where I got so depressed, right? I hated myself. And I went through a lot of stuff in the neighborhood, like all that street cred, all that stuff. Like I told you, I mean, I went through a bunch of crazy stuff, like one after another. I felt like I was about to die. The neighborhoods where I grew up at, I was hanging around. Man, it's like a bunch of stuff started happening all at once, man. There was lies and stuff on my name. People was betraying me. My drug habits, I was struggling with alcoholism at a young age. So, you know, my habits had me, you know, what we call growing up in the city, you call them an unk. Like, man, he an unk. You know, I was out here, I was an unk, but I was still a criminal. You know what I'm saying? I was out here young, smoking, drinking like crazy, you know, and it was just like, I started going downhill. And it was like, by me going downhill, it started making me see who was really around me. By me, it's like I had hit rock bottom. And it's like now all this street cred and all this respect in the streets and stuff, it's like, it's really, it's like it's a smoky mirror now. It's like they don't even matter. Now I feel like I'm hitting rock bottom. I'm struggling with alcoholism and drug habits and stuff like that. I'm popping ecstasy like Flintstone vitamins. I'm out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm smoking tobacco. Man, I'm smoking like 3-4 packs a day. I mean, and I'm a youngin'. I'm like 14, 15. I'm a youngin'. You know what I'm saying? So all that going on, and I'm struggling with suicide, man. I was struggling with suicide because I felt like life was over for me. And I didn't realize, man, it was like I was demonically possessed, because I would hear these voices and I knew it wasn't me, man. It would be just telling me like, what you got to live for? I was just in a dark place, man. I started hating myself. I hated how I look. I got so stressed out to where I would break out in hives all around my face. I felt like I lost all my friends. I felt like nobody was real to.
Yeah, that stress will definitely be,
you know what I'm
that
saying?
stress
And
will
it was like
definitely
that
do
depression
it.
had me just down and out. And it was just like, I felt like nobody loved me. I stayed away from my family. Man, I didn't used to even come outside till at nighttime just to smoke a blunt, because that was my stress reliever. And it felt like that still wasn't taking away the problem. No matter how much weed I was smoking, no matter how much liquor I was drinking, it wasn't taking away my problem. And I had a 357 at the time, and I would come in the house and I would just keep put the 357 in my face and put the 357 in my mouth, just thinking about pulling the trigger. Like, if I die right now, maybe this all will be over. And it was like I would have these voices like in my conscience, like telling me, like, go ahead and do it. Like, do it. Like, ain't nobody gonna care. And I would get up every day angry at God, like, why you got me here? Like, if you just allow me to die in my sleep or something, this world would probably be better. And I would really be like this with God. I was so angry, man. I was so depressed. And I would be like, if you don't take me out now, then I'm taking people with me. If you don't take me out, like, I was that mad. Like, I'm going to take people with me. So you might as well take me out now. But I wouldn't get no response back from God, like an angry response. I would feel his presence, like a warmth come over me, man. And it was this one night I came in the house, and it was like a 3 or 4 o'clock in my normal routine. I go out there, smoke my weed when nobody around. I wore army fatigue bandana around my face to hide myself, because I hated myself. I felt like a demon. I felt like a beastly character. I just hated myself. But it was depression, and it was demonic possession, which I understand now. And I remember putting a gun in my mouth and just thinking, like, and I broke down crying, and I'm like, man, I'm about to just kill myself. I'm about to end it all. And people wonder, like, how can you get to that place, man? Depression and stuff is real.
It's actually,
you know what I'm
very
saying?
easy
And
to
you
get to
have to
that place.
understand,
It is very easy.
to really fully understand the root of the cause, though. The root of the cause is always spiritual. And that's when I really understood. Like, that night, I put this gun in my mouth this night, and I broke down, right? And it's this, you know how the TV shows, the little church shows come on at 3 or 4 in the morning? You
Ooh, I be sleep. I don't know what you're talking
so look,
about that one. I
this,
be sleep. Actually, no. Let me not say that. I do know what you're talking
yeah,
about. And then sometimes they got a
yeah.
little number going across.
But this joint was
Yeah, I know
different,
what you're
right?
talking about.
Because normally I don't even pay them joints no attention. I just turn the channel, because especially when you out here doing wrong, or you ain't out here living right, you ain't trying to hear none of that, man. You don't want to hear nothing about God and preaching and stuff like that. Especially you got guns, you smoking, you out here doing whatever you doing, man. I'm not trying to hear none of that. But this night, and because I still was aware, I had a relationship with God, but during this time of my life, it was just like I wasn't saved, but like I had a relationship. So me understanding now that I was still going to hell, man, because I didn't have a real relationship. I knew about him, but I didn't have no real relationship. And that's why I was at that place that I was in. You know what I'm saying? I was empty. I was lost. I was burdened. And this TV show came on, and this dude name was Prophet Manasseh. And when he came on, I swear, I got the 357 in my mouth, and I'm crying bullets, man. I'm crying profusely. And he started talking, and I'm high, right? I told I just came in the house. I just smoked a pack. I just smoked some good thrax. You hear me? So I'm high, and I'm breaking down. And he started talking, and it's like everything became still. And I went through some more stuff leading up to this, but just to give you the brief, you know what I'm saying, get straight to the point. Everything became
I feel
still.
you.
And it's like this dude was talking directly to me. He was like, man, you know, I know you right now, you're crying. You want to end it all right now. You know, you're feeling like nobody loves. It's like everything he was saying, it's like this dude was looking at me through the TV talking to me. So I'm stopped. Yeah, like you.
Literally
It's
like
like,
you.
oh, so to where it made me, I felt the warmth of God. I felt this presence, like, put the gun down. Like, put the gun down. Come on. I felt God hug me, man. And I know it sounds crazy, but I felt the spirit of God hug me. And I started breaking down like even more. Yeah, you know what I'm
Definitely don't sound
saying?
crazy. It don't sound crazy because people have stories there where they be like, "Yo, like I was in this situation and I felt like
Yes.
this presence just lead me to a
Yes.
whole nother
That's why I said
direction." So
when you
nah,
had the experience for yourself, nobody can tell me nothing. Like people could argue about the Bible and argue about Jesus all day. I have a personal experiences, so you can't tell me nothing. If I have a personal experience with you, can't nobody come to me and talk to me about you because I know you personally. You know what I'm saying? So whatever y'all got to say, or y'all spreading the
definitely
rumor or trying to say this about him or this about him, I'm going to go off of my personal experiences with you. You know what I'm saying? So when I felt the spirit of God hug me, man, it was just this feeling I never felt before. It felt like it rejuvenated me, but it felt like the hug that I never knew that I needed. And I put the gun down and I started tuning in so much into what dude was saying. And it's just like he was ministering to me, man. He was ministering to me in such a way, like this never had happened to me before. I'm just like, whoa, like what is going on? I started thinking that I started thinking the weed was just like, I'm like, damn, Slim, I must, yeah, I'm like,
it was
I'm
messing with you. I
smacked.
feel you.
I'm like, I must
It
be
be like
high.
that.
I'm tripping. I'm like, it was, hey, you
But that
hear me?
joint was
I'm
some
like,
pressure.
Slim, this is that. I'm like, hold up. But it was just the presence. I felt his presence. And no lies, I heard the Lord begin to speak to my conscience. Like, remember I told you I was hearing these voices at first, like, go ahead and kill yourself. Go. It's like this soft voice. It's like this whisper. It was in my conscience and in my instinct, in my gut. And I could hear it though. And it was like, put the gun down. It was like, come on, I love you. And I heard it was like, I love you. It was like, I love you. Don't throw your life away. I got much greater is planned for you. I got a much greater plan. And I was hearing it and I started like crying. Like right now, even I'm feeling it in my spirit. Like it was just like, oh my God. Like I felt like God was right there with me. And I right there and there, I gave my life to God over that TV show. And he did an altar call over the TV show and was like, if you want to give your life to God, say this prayer of salvation with me. And I felt the presence of God standing right there with me as I began to pray and lift my hands up. And I just, I surrendered. It's like I surrendered. It's like, Lord, I'm tired of running. I'm tired of living this type of wicked lifestyle. I don't want to die in this lifestyle or die without having a relationship with you. Everything that I've done up to this point has just left me empty. I tried to do life my way. It never worked out. No matter how much I tried to change myself, I would always find myself going back to the things that I was trying to change from. It was like I needed a greater power in my life. And it was like the presence of
Right.
Jesus Christ right then and there, it changed me. It changed me. It changed my mind. It changed my perception. It saved me because I know for sure I would have, the way I was living, I'd have been dead. I'd have been dead for sure. I'd have been dead. And how I was living, like I didn't even see life in prison for me. Like death was my next step. And it's like God was showing me. It was like God was showing me like death is the next step. Like you're gonna be out of here. But it's like, dang, where are you going for eternity? Because you don't have a real, I'm trying to get a relationship with you, but it's like you're not paying attention to the call. I'm calling you. I love you. I'm calling you, but it's like you're not listening to me. You declining
You
the
declining the
call. You know what I'm
call,
saying? So it's like, how
basically.
many times you think you're going to decline that call before it be your last call? Because you got an op out here, which is the devil. You got an op out here that wants you dead. He don't want your life to change because if your life changed, then others around you life may change. You know, your family life may change. You may start breaking generational curses. So the devil don't want none of that to happen. He don't want you to be a greater influence in your community. He want to keep people captive into the addictions and the struggles and the bad habit and the murder and the drug. He want to keep that. He want to keep that. He wants you to be out of your household. So if you got kids or a little sister, you can't protect them or show them the right way of living, that they end up being trapped by it, and that they kids end up being caught up in the trap. You know what I'm saying? So it was a real transformation for me by accepting Jesus Christ in my life, and it's the best thing that I could have ever done. The best thing that I could have ever done.
That's good. That's good. That's definitely good. So, next thing, what made you? I feel like I asked this question, but just to make sure I didn't, what made you want to do? I'm gonna ask it for each one because I already asked about rapping. You definitely answered that one. What made you want to do acting?
Right.
Like, because acting is, I feel like acting is probably the hardest thing alongside with modeling, but I feel like acting is that one that you really got to know people for that one. More than, like, even with modeling, you still got to know people, but there's more stuff out there for modeling than it is for acting. Like acting, they don't start that at like, I don't even feel like they start that like when you're like in elementary school and you're coming up. But modeling, they do that. And I hear more about modeling for anything. So when it comes to acting, what made you want to say, you know what? I feel like I can do this. And I feel like if I do this, it's going to be like, it's going to branch off into something way bigger than what it is right now.
So the crazy part is I never seen myself actually, it wasn't never something that I wanted to pursue, but growing up actually, you know, when we watching certain movies and stuff like that, you always would think about how nice it would be to see yourself. You know what I mean? So growing up, especially growing up in the streets and stuff like that, when we seen movies like Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood, you know, we wouldn't, you know, like the Hot Boys, the Baller Block and stuff like that. You know, we always wanted to be, because we seen ourselves in these movies. So it's like, man, I want to be in this gangster movie. Or when you watch like Scarface, you know, we intrigued by these things. So it's like, oh, man, I want to be a part of this. I want to be in this type of movie. But I never really seen that coming for me. So me giving my life to God changed everything. And God was that, like you said, is somebody you got to know. The person who I knew was Christ. Christ opened all them. I'm telling you, when you give your life to God, Slim, you don't have to chase the bag will chase you. I'm telling you. And I'm just saying it from experience. You don't have to chase connections. The connections to chase you. You will run right into them because you align with your purpose when you got God as your top priority and you align with God. Everything that's on that path to God, everything that you need will be on that path if you align yourself with your purpose of serving God and keeping God first. Because it's like, I forgot how my first film came, but it was, I know it came from when I was doing the music. Like in the scriptures, in the Holy Bible, it's a scripture that say, you know, your gift will make room before you and bring you before great people. And my gift to rap had initially opened the door for my gift of acting. This is the thing. I never took an acting class a day in my life, Slim. I got an IMDb, if you check the IMDb database, Slim, I'm in like 6, 7, 8, 9 movies. Matter of fact, I just got booked for two or three movies this year. Me and my wife in here with me too. Say what's up, baby. So you know what I'm saying?
How
and
you
I'm
doing?
in here with my brother Twan. But I never had an acting class. I never took no acting practices, nothing like that. It's just it's like it was just aligned with my purpose. It's like the rapping opened the door for that. And I end up doing like a cameo in one of the movies where I got invited to be in this one movie. It's called Residue 2, Dangers of Entrapment by Roosevelt Jackson. That was the first film that I was in. But before I did my first film, I was doing like I started doing plays in the church. When I joined the church, I started doing plays in the church. I was going to Master's Child's Church that's over here in Capitol Heights on Brooks Drive over by Fox Club Apartment. Bishop Melvin Robinson Jr. And I was doing church plays there. But when I was real little, though, which was funny, is God will give you a glimpse of your future, but you won't sometimes understand it until hindsight when you get older. And if you align yourself with God, you know what I'm saying, and with the purpose that God had for you. When I was real small, I was in this African play. And I remember being on that stage with these big lights and all that and just kind of feeling like, I like this. Like this, I like this. You know what I'm saying? I could do this. But I was little. I was a kid. I was like 7 or 8. So now being a grown man and, like I said, giving my life to God, man, I end up in the church. I'm in the choir. I'm acting, right? I joined the drama ministry. I never seen this coming. You know what I'm saying? So this is all God. I joined the drama ministry. Shout out to Master's Child's Church. Because that's why I can say I really got my feet in the door just acting, doing them plays. And I had did this play where they did the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And I was playing the guy who was crucifying him. And I did so good that I had people at the church call, like, every time they would see me for about 3 months, they was like, man, you crucified my Jesus. Like, they was like, man, you made that thing seem so real. I had the older ladies in the church walking up to me, pointing their fingers, talking about something. Don't nobody come against my Jesus. I was like, man, I hope they know that I was just acting. Like, I was just, you know what I'm saying?
I was just doing
but God
this.
was using me. He was letting me know where he about to take me to. So after that, you know what I'm saying, I end up, like, later on, doing my rap thing and all that, I end up networking with the right people, bumping into the right people. And I end up in this movie called Dangers of Entrapment. It was about the child sex trafficking epidemic that's happening down here. You know what I'm saying? If people don't know, that's going on down here in the DMV. So, you know, you got to be careful. Watch your kids, watch yourself. You dig? But I was in this movie. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was in this movie and I played an undercover officer. I played one of the undercover officers who end up catching one of the child predators at the end. So I played 2 roles in the movie, though. I played 2 roles, so you gotta pay attention to know that it's me, both roles. And I play a guy whose sister was adopted. And am I saying it right? Abducted.
Abducted.
I played the guy whose sister was abducted, and I was on a hunt for her. So after that film, it was just like, it was like doors just was opening, and I knew it was because of my relationship with Christ. It was all because even after I got saved, I made huge mistakes. I done things I wasn't supposed to. I went back to things I wasn't supposed to, and no opportunities or none of that was not happening for me no more. I always call it, me and my homies, we call it I call it my David Ruffin effect. It was have you seen the movie Temptations with David Ruffin? That's my favorite singer. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to David Ruffin. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace. So he was, remember, did you see the Temptations movie? Do you see the David Ruffin part when he was in the crack house, right? And he was supposed to be at the show. And the Bama, he done spent all his money up. And the Bama asked him, like, man, where the rest of the money? You keep asking for more stuff. You got some more money? So he pulled out some Temptations tickets. It was like, I got tickets to the show tonight. So the Bama was like, all right, man, these better be good. So he gave him some coke or whatever, you know what I'm saying, so he could smoke. So the Bama came back with the tickets and was like, hey, man, he was like, I thought you said you gonna be there and these was tickets for the night. He was like, they are. He was like, man, this ticket's for last month's show. He was like, well, I guess I ain't gonna be there then. And that part for me was so funny and relatable because even after being saved and God opening these doors and all that for me, man, like I said, I went back to drinking and smoking and doing the wrong things. And I was on flyers that time, man. I was supposed to go and perform in certain places. And now I'm saved, devoted my life to God. But that go to show you, man, as long as you got this flesh on you, you prone to still make mistakes. The thing is, that's the reason why we need God. So it's like, don't ever feel that you got to be perfect to come to God. You come to God so he can get you right. You don't have to get right to come to God. That's the reason why you come, because you can't get it right on your own. You know what I'm saying? So me going back to certain things, like I said, I'm on flyers and I'm messing up connections, man. I remember I'm supposed to be at a show, right? I didn't went back. I'm over some female house. I'm drunk. I'm high. She wake me up in the middle of the night and she like, your phone blowing up off the hook. So I grab the phone, answer it. It's endless people calling me like, hey man, we at the show, man. When you getting up on stage? Man, I'm lit. I'm out of it. I got a Remy bottle over here, blunt paper over here. I'm like, show, what y'all talk about? They like, man, you on the flyer, Slim, stop playing. So I'm like, oh man, I had the promoter call me crying because we had a good rapport with one another. She was crying like, I can't believe you would do this to me. I thought you was committed. I thought you was, and messing up those opportunities because I end up falling back into old bad habits and stuff like that, not staying aligned with God. It showed me that in order for these doors to keep opening and for these good things, you know what I'm saying? You got to stay aligned with God. You got to stay in the right standing with God. You know what I'm saying? And do what's right. Do what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Jamal Martin. I feel like you might.
Jamal Martin.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's my peoples. That's my peoples. Yeah, my people's on there. Y'all wasn't even paying attention.
He definitely.
You gotta stay with God, man. What's going on in the shot?
What's up, Molly Mo?
Hey, there you go, man? Right there.
This nigga
how you
never
feeling?
answered the phone on my
How you feeling?
What's up with this nigga, bro? I haven't seen this nigga in a year and a half, nigga. Calls you today, nigga. He didn't answer the phone.
Man, look, whole time though, I ain't even got no phone. I'm on my wife's phone. My phone broke.
I called this nigga yesterday today, man. I said, this nigga over here, he lied. He active on Facebook and IG. He up here posting up Jesus and shit. I said, nigga, what's up? What's up, bro? You didn't say nothing to me, nigga. What's going on? Nigga, happy birthday and all that, nigga.
Man, you already know it ain't nothing but love, man. How you
gonna
get on my interview talking about this nigga don't answer the
nigga, hey, fool. Hey, Negro. Hey, Negro.
You don't answer no phone.
You don't answer no phone.
Nigga, you answer no phones, nigga, on my soul.
Hey, I gotta give you my
this nigga like incognito and shit, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you at, you know what I'm saying? You know I moved back right away, yeah?
Hey, you already know how we rocking.
You know I moved back right, nigga. You know I moved back right away, nigga.
I'm gonna pull up on. I'm gonna send you my number. I'm gonna send you my other number in your inbox.
Nigga, but I moved wrong way. Guess what I moved back to?
Where?
The same junk. That's the duplex, nigga.
Hey, Mo, you a funny dude, though. How you?
He said I left. He said I left to come
right now. Man.
Tell your brother I said what's happening too. I'm gonna holler at him when I get on.
Hey, you already know, fool. Hey, you know, Shaw leg with me, nigga.
For real?
Yeah.
Man, don't be saying all that on the interview, joke, man.
This is an interview?
Yeah,
y'all interviewing this nigga?
Hey, you a funny dude, bro.
Hey, yeah, it's the only time I get to talk to this nigga, man, so on the fucking interview, yeah. This nigga funny as shit, yeah. I'm tuning in right here. Ain't going nowhere, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
finish your conversation, bro. My bad, bro.
Hey, you good, bro? No, you good. Keep it real. It's like a
FaceTime. It's like we're doing FaceTime right now because you're not gonna answer the phone. It's like y'all talk about your wife's phone. Nigga, you ain't gonna answer no phone, nigga. Now you in FaceTime, nigga.
Hey,
he came with this.
Hey, you wild. Hey, you wild dude.
Man.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark on line. Hey, Mark, stop laughing.
Hey,
bro.
Mark. What type of interview this is, man? What we talking about?
Man, you.
We basically just talking about his. I'm gonna let you know right now. We basically talking about his life, but
man,
made him choose the decisions
back in the day,
past that he took with him and his businesses and all of that. Oh man!
Hey, Mom, you a wild dude.
I feel like
us black stories, y'all.
Black people.
You remember back in the day, bro?
When you say. You remember back in the day, bro, and you smile, you already know it's something.
Hey,
it's a lot, nigga. It's back in the day.
Remember back in the day when you
I used to have him. I used to trick them to go to church with me and everything. I used to get them to come out the hood to go to church with me and all that.
Hey, that's one of them jokes. Like when you get married, right? And you know your best man about
Oh
to say
man,
something
hey,
he shouldn't
Mark,
say.
he is the king of saying. He is the
And you
king
gotta
of
take the
saying
mic.
something
Hey,
he
no.
shouldn't say. This is the king of that. Mark
Hey, you know,
said, hey, Mark. Mark said the interview over now.
Hey, Mark, your ass don't answer the phone either, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Fuck wrong with Mark. He don't answer the phone either. I ain't even trying to talk to Mark. Mark ain't answer the phone when I hit
Hey,
him on the
look.
motherfucking Facebook and IG, nigga.
Hey, stop cussing so much, man. We on his podcast show,
Oh,
man.
oh, no cussing? Bro,
Yeah.
this fool to answer the phone. This
Not.
Negro is a
It's
nigga on Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
so with so so most of the
Hey,
time
Mark.
it'll be a whole
Hey,
bunch of
Mark.
cussing and stuff. But
Hey,
since
Hey,
hey, Mark.
Mark.
Miz is
What you
a
got in my
rapper
40,
and he
nigga?
Hey,
find that
Mark.
he's with God,
We gonna call
I
you
leave it
back, bro.
alone.
Let me
Mark, what
finish
you
this
got in my
interview
40,
with
Mark?
him.
He like, look, you
Mark,
better answer my.
Nah,
I'm
Mark,
gonna holler at you when
Mark,
we get off
hey,
this
Mark
show,
bullshitting
man.
that, huh?
I'm gonna holler at
What
you
happened?
when we get. Let me finish
Nigga,
interviewing with fam.
nigga, he not gonna pick up, watch. Let me tell y'all a story about this nigga before I roll out, y'all, because he trying to push me off and shit. Long story
Hey,
short,
go ahead,
this
go
nigga,
ahead.
man, used to
That's the
smoke
part.
out intimidated,
This
man.
interview
What's
is
that,
hard.
that gas, that boy? He don't smoke no more, y'all, you know what I'm saying? He became sanctified, you know what I'm saying? I felt him, though, you know what I'm saying? I might get, man, I was, story about me, y'all. I was baptized. I need to get baptized again. It wore off, y'all. It wore the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? I need to get it one more time. You know what I'm saying? Because I need Jesus. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
He said I was
Just
baptized and
Jesus.
it wore
I
off.
just need Jesus, y'all. No bullshit.
nah, real business. You already know, bro. I
Man,
remember
hey,
you used
y'all.
to come to church with me, bro.
Man, I work on Sundays, bro, but I still need Jesus, though. Do
Hey, most
you work on
definitely, we
Wednesday?
all do. We all
Jesus.
do, bro.
If
Yeah,
I'm
man.
correct, they do that virtually now.
Man, hey, man. The kids got big, bro. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
tell the family
Hey, no, you got married, nigga. You didn't invite me to the wedding, nigga. What's going on, nigga? What's
Hey,
going on?
look,
Fuck
let me
out.
holler
You
at you
invite the
when we
wedding,
get off
nigga.
the interview, bro.
You ain't
Let me
invite me to the
holler at you.
wedding either, bro. What type of friend is him? A wedding, nigga? I ain't giving a wedding? This nigga here tripping, bro. Oh, God, damn. Nigga, you see my wife, nigga, my ex-wife, nigga.
Come
I ain't just
on,
with the
stop.
ex-wife. I ain't meet your wife, nigga. You met my ex-wife, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We got shit back, dog. You met my kids and shit, nigga. I ain't meet your new kids and shit. You got kids?
Hey, Mo. Hey, Mo.
Man, let me know you got any kids, bro. Blink your
Son,
eyes, nigga. You need help,
I'm
Grace, bro.
gonna
Bro,
call you when
hey,
we get
bro,
off
if
the
you ever in
interview,
stress,
bro.
nigga,
I got you.
bro, I will call 911 if you need help. Blink your eyes, nigga, if you need help, nigga. Just twice, one time. Nigga, once, nigga,
Son,
I got you.
son, I'm gonna holler at you
All
when we get
right, bro.
off.
You know, y'all be easy, yeah. Hey, bro, answer the fucking phone,
Hey,
nigga.
love you, bro. I'm gonna
Answer
All
the
answer
right,
for
you
phone,
you.
bro. You
too.
know what I'm saying?
I got
He
you.
gonna,
Hey,
he lying like shit, y'all. I'm
hey,
out.
that
You know what
was
I'm saying?
funny.
Lying motherfuckers, man. I ain't this a bitch. You know what I'm
That
saying?
was
But all right, nigga, I moved on
funny.
Madison Gardens, nigga. You already know what's
Hey,
up.
I'm gonna
Back in the same
hit
spot.
you. I'm gonna hit you. I
All, man,
promise.
all
I'm gonna hit
creep
you.
shit, y'all. All creep shit. Now,
All right, bro.
All right, you too.
Hey, that's,
Whoa, hey, yo. Hey, that is one of the funniest people I have
hey,
met.
look. That's why I tell people this. That's why I'm so transparent and humble. No matter if you saved or not, you can't forget where you come from. And you still got to be relatable and
Definitely.
transparent to the people who came up with you to where you can't become so overly righteous to where you feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You can't
you really
forget, man,
can't
you know?
forget where you came from.
That's
Cause
exactly.
then it's weird.
And how
It
can you
starts to
go
be
back
weird.
and how can you go back and be a light or be a positive influence to where now they should see the change in your behavior and see the change in your life, but don't become so, you know, in the church they like to say don't become so
Hi.
spiritually minded to earthly
Yeah.
good. You know what I'm saying? But you still always got to remain transparent and remain humble, because at any given day you may feel like you know riding your high horse today, but you can always be back to where you came from. Sometimes we always one step away from where you used to be. You know what I'm saying? But God know how to keep you humble. You know what I'm saying?